Hello, Pisces friends. I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my Pisces December 2024 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. I'm calling the theme of this month Harmony and High Hopes and Aligned Ambitions, and I'll go into all of those details. It's my intention to help prepare you for this time, to see the sweet spots along the way and the places where you might have to be a little bit more careful. Overall, I just want you to have the best month possible, and that is my goal for giving you this information. This is for you if Pisces is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Pisces placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. If you're a very late degree Pisces friend, so birthday is like March 15th through the rest of the sign, or Pisces degree is around 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Aries report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. I'm going to mostly be focused on shorter term transits that are highlighting December and making December different than the months before and after, but astrological transits in general don't generally neatly fit into the context of 1 month. So some things we'll be talking about will have started before December and will go after December, and there will be a couple of things I touch on that are very long-term transits. So let's just get right into it. I'm going to start with just giving you a summary of just putting into perspective what it's like to be a Pisces right now from some of these longer term storylines at play, and then we'll drill down into the faster moving, in some ways less consequential energies that you will definitely be feeling and will be very current. Okay, so the first thing is you still have Saturn in Pisces. This is going on from 2023 to 2026, so we're moving along here. This is a time to bring all of your use the discipline of Saturn to bring life, to bring materialization, to bring manifestation to your Piscean dreams, those artistic, spiritual, hard to put into words, ethereal, psychological, deep, emotional energetics that are so much a part of who you are and how energy moves through you. It's a time to add form to those. So you're in a long-term storyline where you're getting into good habits, you're adding in daily disciplines that will help you to bring these visions, this mystical energy into a tangible, usable form. And since Saturn is moving through your first house, this is also relating to your physical body. So you're in a few-year process of getting grounded more in your body, getting good body habits, and getting your health worked out in wonderful ways through your detailed, disciplined focus. Neptune rules Pisces, that's your ruler, and Neptune is still in your sign for a little while longer. It's going to pop into Aries and pop back into Pisces, but we've been doing this for a very long time, but you're at the tail end here. This placement could have given some long-term difficulty for Pisces placements of feeling like your feet are constantly in the sand and the water is lapping up on them, making you fall deeper and deeper without feeling like you have a solid grounding. Pisces represents the feet and the foot area, both physically and also energetically, of like feeling grounded, getting grounded is maybe an extra special challenge for you, and certainly for many Pisces placements. So you're in a long storyline of enhancing your creativity and your intuition and your spiritual connection while trying to really find that grounding. And in this case, these years where Saturn is also in Pisces is a really nice counterbalance to this Neptunian energy. So, you're finding your footing, you're finding your grounding, you're finding your stability, and that's what this storyline is about. Now we add to the long-term storyline that's definitely current now still is the Pisces and Virgo eclipse cycle. So we started a new Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle that's going to be in effect for, a few years here. And this may have come with a boom. I've talked about this in the September, October, November reports. You can refer back to them to get more details about that. But I just want to kind of speak to it and say, we are in a little bit of an integration cycle now. So the biggest intensity from that eclipse cycle has kind of come back a little bit more undercover into the, subconscious, and you're integrating any changes that have made into your new normal from any big things that may have occurred. And if you didn't have anything big occur, sometimes these big things occur inside before they manifest outside. And you may be feeling that. Maybe nothing around you has changed at all, but there's something going on internally, and it will be coming out more and more over the upcoming years from this Pisces eclipse cycle. So, this is a new era for Pisces. This is a time when, everything can change for you very drastically. If things have been difficult, this is a time when things can flip for you. So keep your hopes high. That is one of my themes for the month, and I'm going to start to get into how you have extra support at this time to do that. Okay, so we have a lot going on as usual, but this is really a less busy month than we've had. September and October were two of the most intense and challenging months of the year. November lightened up a little bit. Hopefully for you that worked out too. From astrological perspective, it definitely has lightened. And December is another one of those months. We have just as many sweet aspects as we do salty ones, as I like to call them. Salty is when the planets are not getting along and they're in a weird mathematical angle that brings stress and pressure. For 4 months in a row, we had a drastic kind of imbalance with the annoying aspects being the dominating force. But this month, things level out. It's about equal. So, and there are just less transits than we've had over recent months. So, the stars are calming down. Everything is calming down. Hopefully, your nervous system can calm down. And that's what's happening this month. So, we've got 2 stars in the short-term scene of the zodiac this month, which is Sagittarius and Capricorn. So, I'm going to hone in on the general energies of that sequence or those sequences, and also bring them personal, right to Pisces as to how they specifically manifest for you. Let's start out with the Sagittarius aspect of the zodiac superstars. And this is where a lot of the harmony and high hopes start to come in, because Sagittarius is the optimist of the zodiac. I'm a Sagittarius. I have a ton of energy in Sagittarius. If you know my work, you know that my optimism comes through, although I do warn you when there are tough aspects and things to work with. In general, I try to look for the silver lining and for what we can do with these challenges to make lemonade. Okay. So that energy that is typical of my demeanor is now everybody's to have more of this month, with the sun, the new moon, in the days around, December 1st, Mercury in retrograde, so it's there for a longer time. All of the Sagittarius energy is bringing this buoyancy, these high hopes, these, in some cases, excess, happiness, exploration and adventure, and solution-oriented thinking. It's a fire energy, and in general, that's, very vibrant for everyone. Specifically for Pisces, this makes what's called a square for your placement. So this can be a pressure point, but pressure points don't have to be bad. You don't have to fear squares, especially when they're in quick moving aspects like this. It just puts fire under your watery pot. That's how I always explain it. When we have an abundance of fire energy and you are water, then, you've got this fire that's coming through, and it wants to, basically put you into action, wants to get things going. And although we do have a very retrograde month, which we will get into, it doesn't mean that you can't take actions. It just means that those actions are better put towards things closer to you, things that have been from the past that needed to be done, wrapping up old, unfinished business, not trying to put your long-term ambitions into play, focusing more on the smaller steps, of the daily routine, of the things right in front of you, of the squeaky wheels looking for oil. When we have a retrograde time, which we have Mars in retrograde and Mercury in retrograde this month, I'll give you those dates later. This is a time when, trying to push things out into the world may be more difficult, because the tides are coming in. So anything you push out comes right back to you. And that can be really good for short-term projects, for experimenting, for something like a promotion that's meant to be short-term, or an experience that's intended to be short-term. It can be really brilliant for that. But either way, there's pressure, there's action that's required of you. There's something that you may want to do, and you can use all of this fiery Sag energy to propel you forward into doing it. Now, specifically for Pisces, this stellium, which is when there are a bunch of placements in one sign, is in your 10th house. So this has to do with your career, If you don't have a career or employment, this can have to do with your public life. And this is a Capricorn, the Capricorn house. So not only do we have planets moving into Capricorn or already there, which we'll discuss here soon, you also have the Sagittarius movements going through your Capricorn house. So this is a very Capricornian time for you. And Capricorn energy does flow better with Pisces. It's the form that holds your watery flow. And, earth and air work very well together. So you will see that energy of your emotions being supported into directed action. Big theme to know during Mars retrograde, also during Mercury retrograde, is that if you're trying to do something and it's not working, forcing is not very well advised during the retrogrades. Instead, if you say, okay, maybe that doesn't really have to be done, and you put your energy towards the things that are flowing, you'll be much happier. Now, if it's something like picking your kid up from school and there's traffic, you can't very well just say, never mind, I'm not going to pick them up because it's not in the flow, right? There are certain things that you absolutely have to do, and you'll just have to deal with whatever comes up in between you and those outcomes. But asking the question, do I really, really have to do this? Or do I just want to do this or feel like I have to do this? And that's going to really, really change how you experience Mars retrograde in particular, okay? So that's something to know. But your career, employment, your public life, the place where you shine out in the world, this focus on ambitions, professional aspirations, how you present yourself in those ways, are all going to be coming up in a big way. So there's work to be done in the places where you're out in the world, whatever that looks like for you. And if you're looking for a job or you're looking for employment, that's going to be a very, very active, busy time. If you've been trying to find a job, maybe something long-term will gel now, but what's even better is if you find an interim job or a short-term or a flexible position to fill a gap, because these energies are fantastic for filling in something for a short amount of time. So if you're on your hunt for your best job ever and it's not gelling yet, especially going back to old contacts or old things that you did or old places of employment or types of work, can bring you a lot of benefit now. With the retrograde energy here, you also may just be asking questions, reviewing, what is it you want for your professional life? What is it you want for your job? What is it you want for your work? And something really important to know in general, and this is like a lifetime experience for Pisces, is that you need a lot of freedom in your work. Now, this is going to be true for the early and middle degree Pisces. So the later you get into the sign, this may be a little bit different for you, okay? Because your Placidus chart shifts, and that puts more Capricorn energy in your 10th house. But most of the Pisces, the earlier and middle degree friends, you all have Sagittarius on your midheaven. So I'm just going to show you an important astrological truth here really quickly to add to this discussion, and then we'll go back to what we're saying. For those of you, okay, so podcast friends, I am putting the chart as the thumbnail, so you can peek at this as well. And if you want to see me working on the chart, you can see that on YouTube. If you don't like to see me working on the chart, you can find the podcast version, Astro Kisses with Annie Botticelli. But okay, so looking at the chart, for the 12 o'clock down to 6 o'clock-ish position, and the 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock position, if we're looking at this like a clock, these lines are darker. These lines are darker than these cusps that are between the other houses. And these are the big cusps of the chart. They're the big angles, and anything that happens at these angles, whether in our natal chart, transit chart, or whatever, really carry more importance. So this midheaven is so important for your life. It's one of the big four. And so knowing this about yourself, Pisces friends need more flexibility and sometimes more randomness and sometimes more like diversity, getting your fingers in a lot of pudding pies in your job experience. Many Pisces folks, unless you have other factors that I can't see, or unless you're a later degree friend that has more Capricorn, towards the midheaven, you may really notice that you might benefit from having a couple of part-time jobs rather than one solid full-time job. And if that's your situation, then now here I'm giving you permission to follow the flow of your stars, right? Not from me, but from the astrological perspective. So, looking for that freedom, looking for that flow, but at the same time trying to find as much stability as possible. And that's what Capricorn's about. So we've got the openness, the fun, the adventure, the focus on teaching and learning and education, the international travel, international business, immigration, all of those energies are coming up strongly with the Sagittarius. But we also have Pallas Athena, Venus, and Ceres, all in Capricorn, and then the sun will get there later in the month too. So what Capricorn is bringing is this focus on structure. And hey, remember we started out talking about this because Saturn rules the 10th house and Capricorn. So you have a long-term story of discipline and structure and stability building. And now in this short term, you may be able to make great strides towards that. Good health habits, good daily practices, getting a coherent, plan, organizing things, getting systems together that help you to be able to be more in the flow with your emotions because the other structures are kind of holding that flow for you. So that's going to be a big theme. So you'll be noticing that there's a big focus on career, ambition, reflection because of the retrograde. You'll be reassessing your priorities. You'll be trying to build structures and trying to use a discipline. Because if you have to do things like taxes, this Capricorn energy is amazing for that. So, you might, as you feel the Sag energies fading more, those are the party time, mutable, all over the place energies. As you feel that gelling of just kind of the unifocus, take good advantage of it because December into January, when we have this energy, you can get a lot done. Okay, so I want to give you some dates. I always give you dates in the monthly reports, but do know that if you're a person that likes to know all the sweet and salty dates, my favorite aspects of the month, everything in a written format, definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com and put your name and email address in and click receive. When you get the welcome letter, click on the archive link and put in December 2024 astrology, and that will give you the sweet and salty dates. So there are so many things that I can't cover in the reports, but I am going to give you some dates. So the first important date is right at the beginning, December 1st. That's our new moon in Sagittarius. This is a perfect time to focus on new beginnings and to plant seeds for the future. And since Sagittarius is focused on expansion and adventure and higher learning and freedom and travel and education and personal growth, setting your new moon wishes according to those types of wishes, or the topic of optimism, or the topic of positive serotonin and other dopamine flow. This energy, this high, this exuberance, this positive thinking, this optimism. You can also spend the new moon wishing for that if you struggle with mood issues. Now, specifically, that new moon is in this house of your public image and work and career, so you may notice some new beginnings, or you can plant seeds at this time for new beginnings in those realms. The full moon in Gemini is going to be in the days around December 15th at 24 degrees. Oh, the new moon in Sag was at 9 degrees. And this full moon in Gemini is at 24 degrees. And so full moons signify culminations and clarity and elucidation and completions and drama and things coming to fruition. So with this being in Gemini, this is going to highlight communication, ideas, information, and social relationships. Things that have been hidden may come to light. This is just a typical full moon thing. It's definitely a time for reflection on how you communicate, if it's getting you to where you want to be, and anything else as it relates to writing or your devices that you use for communication, or mobility, or the devices you use for mobility. Now, the energy of Gemini is further, brought into the picture from Jupiter continuing to move through your fourth house. It is in retrograde now, so some things that have been moving forward from big Jupiter ambitions can be like going to sleep. Like if you are waiting to hear back about a book submission and then all of a sudden everything got quiet, that could be because of Jupiter being in retrograde. So, work is still happening behind the scenes. It just may not come up yet. So the full moon is there, Jupiter is there, expanding your home and family in tremendous ways, and your housing and your real estate. So, you could see, because specifically this full moon for Pisces is going to be in the house of home, houses, housing, real estate. So you may see fullness, completion, fruition, drama, for better or worse, in that space. Now, it is also important to note that both this new moon and this full moon do make that square energy to Pisces. So, this could bring something, a pressure point. But again, a pressure point doesn't have to be bad. Let's say you're moving into a new home or you're selling a home or something's happening, there's pressure to get to the next phase. And sometimes it's just the pressure of progress and the pressure of birthing something. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bad pressure, but pressure it will be. Okay, so another important date is in the days around, so that was on the 15th. Okay, and then so the days around December 30th, we've got that new moon in Capricorn. So for Eastern time zone and East, that's a black moon. For earlier time zones, you got your black moon in November because, it just happens to go that way. But a black moon gives us extra depth and extra power for seed planting. The deeper a seed's roots go, the higher and stronger and more robust the plant can grow. So black moons just offer us opportunities to go even deeper with what it is that we're trying to imprint, to start new, to birth something new. So we've already talked at length about this Capricorn energy. On the December 30th, you have a chance to make new moon wishes for your, financial security, for your work security, for your perfect job, for your stability, for your structure, for your ambitions to become manifest. Okay, so I want to touch a little bit more on the retrogrades and give you some dates. And if you like these dates written down and you like to see them visually, if you're a visual learner, I know I am. Again, go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in, click receive, and get the newsletter. And then just when you click on the archive link in the welcome letter, put December 2024 astrology, and you will get all these dates written out, plus, just general overview. So if you like to see those things visually, that will help you. But I'll give them to you verbally here. So Mars is officially retrograde this month. We've been talking about it going retrograde for a long time because it's a long process. So October 7th, we started a deep dive into Mars shadow period, the pre-retrograde shadow transit. December 6th, big date this month, it officially is retrograde until February 25th or 24th of next year. And then the post-shadow transit will go into May. So this is a very long time. You may notice waning ambitions, things fizzling out that had a lot of vigor. You may notice you going back to things rather than trying to create new things. You may notice you get super hot on certain things, but not on other things. Like basically your ambitions just fizzle away with certain things, and then it gets really focused on other things. So like I had mentioned before, this is something that I've found with the retrogrades, and in particular Mars retrograde, because it rules your energy levels. It rules how you use your energy. So we always get to revisit and rethink how we do things, how we use our energy when we're in Mars retrograde. So at this time, certain ambitions, like you may not recognize yourself because you may be unambitious by nature, and then all of a sudden now you're super ambitious. Or you may have ambitions in certain areas and they just go away and you feel like, gosh, what is wrong with me? Why don't I care about those things anymore? And then you may become very hot on something. It's really good for obsessive energy. If it's a safe, healthy obsession, then this could be really, really good. So if you just like go for the gusto, you can get a massive amount accomplished. But in general, things slow down and people may stop showing up. I mean, if they're already giving you a hard time about not just like people not showing up, you may notice that if someone's supposed to come, into work, if someone is supposed to show up to do a job you're hiring them for, if someone is like telling you they're going to help you with something, other people are going to get lazy and unambitious too, not just you. And they may get hot on something else that has nothing to do with what you want them to do. So this is just a thing to observe and be aware of, because this retrograde is going to affect people's, actions and their motivation and their drive. It can cause confusion and anger. Latent anger can come up in a very big way. Retrogrades are fantastic for doing inner work. So, like I was saying before, trying to push things too far outwards, it's not really the time for that. Going inwards, though, is perfect for that. So any psychological work, trauma clearing, things like that are really, really perfect. You may reflect on past hobbies and romances and creative ventures, things involving children, because Mars is in Leo, and Leo rules the 5th house, which rules those things. Now, specifically for Pisces, this is retrograde in your house of health. So, and pets and animals and your daily routine. So you may be going back to an old routine that worked. You may be, have a health issue come back up that had been undercover, or you may regain your health because you're kind of knuckling down and getting back into focus. But you will notice all of these things. In general, it's not a really easy time to make plans. And that is terrible for the fact that this is a holiday month and many people will be making plans. So if you just try to commit in pencil to the plans that you're making with people, you will be less stressed when something changes and you have to not do it. There's a lot of last minute magic to be had here. And the more you leave yourself unscheduled or kind of lightly scheduled, or give your disclaimer, okay, I'm going to try to make it, I'm 70% sure, or just like communicate the fact that things may change, you won't feel as bad and stressed about it when you do have to change it. And also accept that other people that make commitments to come somewhere to do something with you, they may have the same things going on. So it will help your life dramatically to know that this is a month of last minute magic, that plans that have been made are likely going to be called into question. Sometimes they'll still work out. Sometimes they'll get canceled altogether. So leave yourself as free and open as possible. There is a really sweet aspect I want to call to your attention in the days around December 19th. And this is Venus in Aquarius trining Jupiter in Gemini, so that family, home, housing gets a boost when Venus comes into Aquarius and makes this most beautiful aspect. So good family, emotional connections, psychological inner work breakthroughs, personal pursuits, artistic endeavors may get beautiful expansion at this time. This is a really magical time in the stars. And as I told you, if I see something dicey, I also have to give you that warning. The stars definitely have fewer challenge connections this month. And for every annoying one, there is a sweet one to match it. But the biggest pressure point of this month lasts all month. It's this very big transit that we've actually come into in recent months, and then it faded a little bit and we're back into it. This is Jupiter in Gemini squaring Saturn in Pisces. Okay, so this is going to get back into formation. It was solidly present for most of August and September. It's come back into exact connection again in the days around December 24th, but you will be feeling it all month. One of the best summaries I can give you for this is that it may bring up really deep questions about how overstimulation of information, that's Gemini and Jupiter, may be affecting your emotional well-being. Okay, so this is like, I want to say it's almost a positive layer that I can put on it, because I don't need to overstate how different things are with how we are overwhelmed by information and communication. Jupiter expanding information and communication in Gemini, and then Saturn putting the brakes on, saying, whoa, wait a minute here, is this even good for you? So digital detox, just even having a few hours a day or something where you can get your center back would be an amazing way to use this energy. And it can help you heal your body and your mind and your relationships, and, get you back in touch with your intuition. In general, this is a rough, it's a rough square, but you can definitely get balanced growth, which, is one of the positive things we can look at. It can definitely help you add strategy to communication, and it can definitely help you get involved in disciplined learning. So get really, again, structured with your learning. That's a theme you've been hearing me have come up. Now, as far as some other things to look out for, in general, there's going to feel like, or be for sure, some external block feeling like it's stopping the flow. Saturn is all about blocks. Jupiter is all about flow. So when these two come into conflict, it's this trying to get somewhere and being stopped at the pass. So there may be something in your life that you just can't make headway on and you just can't get out of. And this square could be representing that. Maybe you want to travel, but you can't get your passport in time. Maybe you want to start a school program, but you can't afford it. Maybe you want to have some kind of social aspiration, but you're blocked by a gatekeeper that's in your way. This is the kind of thing that you may see, and it will be there all month. And, this is a long-term transit that brings long-term themes, but hopefully you can take the points that I made to help you make lemonade. Okay, so if you have resonated with my work, then please click like and subscribe and click the bell. I've heard that if you don't click the bell, my posts won't go into your feed, but that's what you can do to help YouTube know that you resonate with my work. And you can also enable notifications, and all of those things will help guarantee that you won't miss anything from me. If you love the dates, sweet and salty dates, things to be awareful and careful of, the awesome aspects, definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address, and click receive to get my very informative weekly newsletter. You get so many free things. Most of my work in the world is free. You get even more free stuff as a member of my free VIP community, which is what you become when you put your name and email address in there. When you click receive, you will get the welcome letter delivered into your inbox. It could be in spam. You'll have to move it into your inbox. Click on the archive link there and then put in the search December 2024 astrology. And that's where you will find the sweet and salty dates. I always email that out a month early to my VIP friends so that you can prepare and know the dates ahead of time and know what you're getting yourself into. And if you're a visual learner, you could see all the dates there and have everything in a written format. So at anniehelpsyou.com, you can unleash by joining my free VIP community. You can upgrade by accessing my secret star portal. This gets the earliest possible access to all of my work. You do get the horoscopes and other posts early in my free VIP community too, and then you get them extra early in the secret star portal. You also get written horoscopes monthly for each sign and so much more when you upgrade there. And if you want to learn astrology, then you can click on up level and see my options. You can start with the basics, or you can dive deep into my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Certification course. If you think I put a lot into my free work, you should see what I put into this course. It has well over 100 modules and growing, and it can take you from beginner to earning money in a very short amount of time if you apply what I teach you that way. And for people who have already been well versed with astrology, if you can't seem to tie it all together because you know so much and you don't know where to go in the chart to give a concise, effective reading every time, that is my specialty. Plus, if you're trying to monetize your love of astrology, that is my area of expertise. So you can click on up level when you're there at anniehelpsyou.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.